where we're staying with that story as we start our press review with Deepti Laurent. Deepti, Ramaphosa's plight, it's in a lot of the papers, understandably, in South Africa today. Take us through it.
Will he stay or will he go? That's really the burning question on a lot of the front pages of the South African press today, Sharon. Let's start with the Citizen. Of course, Cyril Ramaphosa has been under pressure since June when that alleged theft at his game farm occurred and involved the theft of large sums of cash that he had stashed at that Pala game farm and the allegations that he bribed the thieves into silence to cover up the fact that they had stolen cash that had been stashed at his farmhouse. Now, the local paper, the Citizen today, really evoking Cyril Ramaphosa's tough choices. The question is, after that independent probe found that he may have breached those anti-corruption laws, either he can resign, he can face impeachment, or he could go down a third route, which would be that of his, similar to that of his predecessor, Jacob Zuma, and challenge these allegations in court. What he does remains to be seen.
And as well as the front pages, it's also in a lot of the editorials there as well, isn't it, Deepti?
Well, it's in the Mail and Guardian edition today. This is the front page. The end of a presidency. The Mail and Guardian is asking here, Ramaphosa caught in a nightmare of his own making. And indeed, the editors of the Mail and Guardian today are talking about it in their editorial, saying here, if Cyril has failed, then we too have failed. Basically, the paper says that the prospect of a third consecutive president who might be faced, who might have to resign or at least step down from office should prompt, quote, severe introspection of where we are as a nation. The paper here in this cartoon seeing this scandal as really a bad film starring Cyril Ramaphosa and Arthur Fraser, who is the spy chief whose complaint to police blew the lid on this scandal in the first place. They see, this cartoonist for the paper sees it as a fly who knew too much. It's also in the editorial of the Sowetan today, another South African paper, the Sowetan, saying that if he does step down, well, then he should ensure that the stability of South Africa is not compromised. And the editors of the Sowetan today really advising Ramaphosa's ruling ANC party not to use this scandal to settle scores, rather focusing on protecting South African politics. The cartoon here, pretty evocative. You see the Pala farm and that sofa stashed with cash as the ball and chain that's dragging Cyril Ramaphosa and his presidency down into the water.
Well, from a president to a prince, Deepti, Harry and Meghan Markle back in the papers again today, the British papers, that is.
That's right. It seems like not a month goes by when they're not in the papers. Well, today it's because of the release of Netflix's trailer for their docu-series. You know, they've signed a very lucrative contract with the streaming platform. And all of this sort of happening, or at least being released just as Prince William and Kate Middleton began their first tour of the US in 8 years, where they're sort of on a charm offensive to show this new modern face of the royal family. So the releasing of this docu-series, at least for the conservative British papers, is a rather insensitive, a little bit distasteful. And you see the Sun's front page today, Kiss Means War. That's a picture from the promotional material of that docu-series. Harry's film is a sabotage of Prince William and Kate Middleton, a bombshell clip timed to ruin a U.S. tour. So that's the Sun, the Daily Express here asking one question to Prince Harry today. Do you really hate your family so much? It asks Prince Harry. They call that Netflix trailer a bombshell that threatens to widen the distance between Prince Harry and his family. The Times of London, meanwhile, likening Prince Harry and Meghan Markle here to the Kardashians with their ubiquitous media presence. Sharon.
Staying with another British story, then the Natural History Museum in London. It's unveiled its shortlist for the best wildlife photographer of the year. Take us through that.
Well, there are some absolutely stunning nature photographs in this competition. So they've just released a shortlist for their People's Choice Awards, which will be announced next February. And the pictures this year do not disappoint. This is The Frog with the Ruby Eyes. It's by Jaime Culebras. It's a Mindo rainforest frog, this picture taken during a mating call. These kind of frogs are typically found in remote Ecuador, but like many animals, they're facing extinction due to mining and logging. There's this picture here as well, very telling of our current situation. It's called COVID Litter. It's by a Dutch photographer, Ook Florian Hiemstra. It's a strong statement, of course, about human carelessness. And as you see, I'm not sure if you can see it here, but you see this little perch fish that was actually stuck in the thumb of this plastic glove that was discarded at a canal in the Netherlands. It was found during a weekly cleanup. There's this really harrowing picture here taken by a Spanish photographer, Igo Altuna, a tragic picture of a leopard who had killed a baboon, and the baboon's young baby was still alive here. And as the story goes, the baby was given to the leopard as his cub, who played with it before killing it. So a very strong statement, I guess, on how cruel the animal kingdom can be sometimes. But this one is a little bit more upbeat. These are guinea fowl. This gorgeous shot was taken by a South African photographer, Richard Flack, at Kruger National Park. It's a crested guinea fowl enjoying a little scratching session by a fellow guinea fowl.
Really striking image, Deepti. You are leaving us, though, on another upbeat story. Speaking of all things colour, what is the colour of the year?
Well, that's right. Pantone, the authority, the Colour Institute that tells us every year, that announces the colour for the next year, has announced 2023's colour. It will be Viva Magenta. It's this gorgeous pink, purple, red-hued color here that you can expect to see in makeup, in fashion, in interior design, in paint. This color, Pantone says, is an unconventional tone for an unconventional time. The Pantone Color Institute executive director explains that it is a shade rooted in nature. It's brave and fearless. It's audacious and inclusive. It's pulsating. It exudes joy and optimism. Something we all could do a big dose of with in 2023. Let's leave you with a picture of what that color could look like in fashion. There you are, the official Pantone sneakers of 2023, Sharon.
And you're ahead of the trend, Deepti. Looks like you're matching really well with that colour.
I try my best.
That's our press reviewer, Deepti Laurent, joining us with a look at the papers. Do stay with us here on France 24. We'll be right back.